Hello friends, let us now learn about all the voice and speech disorders. So what are the different voice and speech disorders? If you see, first we have dysphonia plica ventricularis or ventricular dysphonia. In dysphonia plica ventricularis, here the voice, instead of being produced from the true vocal cord, it is produced by the false vocal cords. So false cords or ventricular cords will produce the voice production instead of true vocal cords. Now, if you see the etiology, it can be of two things. One, it can be functional. Second, it can be organic. If it is functional, it can be psychogenic. In most of the cases, it is psychogenic. And if it is organic, it is because of abnormalities or defect in the true vocal cords. If there is defect in the true vocal cords, obviously the body cannot produce the sound through true vocal cord, and as a result it diverts the machinery and it starts producing the sound through false vocal cord. So whenever there is defect in the true vocal cords, like it can be palsy of the true vocal cords or fixation, or if there is tumors of the true vocal cords, then the body tries to produce sound from false vocal cords. If the body produces sounds from false vocal cords, this sound will be low pitched sound and rough sound. This sound will be rough, low pitched and unpleasant sound is seen in this condition. And even one more important thing is, in this, video stroboscopy is successful. Video stroboscopy is useful in this patient. Here for diagnosis, video stroboscopy will be useful. Then we have diagnosis. We can do indirect laryngoscopy. In indirect laryngoscopy, the false vocal cords will approximate with each other completely and obscure the view of true vocal cords on phonation. The false vocal cord will come together and they will not allow us to see the true vocal cords. Then how are you going to treat it? If it is functional cases, treatment is simple. If it is functional cases, you should give voice therapy. Okay, and give psychological counseling. If it is organic cases, then you will have to treat these. If you treat this, obviously once the defect has been gone, the body again starts using the true vocal cord for sound production. Next, the next important is about the functional aphonia. In what do you see in functional aphonia? Functional aphonia is, here it is mainly seen in emotionally labile females. It is most common, of age 15 to 30 years. Here the patient communicates as though she is whispering. Why? But if you ask cough will be completely normal in the patient. The aphonia that she develops will be sudden and it is without accompanying any laryngeal symptoms. There will be no vocal cord palsy. Okay, there is no vocal cord palsy and no laryngeal symptoms at all. So it is not due to larynx. Here the problem is it is emotional issues, and because of those emotional issues she could not produce the voice. Then on laryngeal examination, if you see vocal cords, the vocal cords are in abducted position and they actually fail to adduct on phonation. They will fail to adduct on phonation. The vocal cords are in abducted position, and even if the patient is trying to speak, they will fail to adduct during phonation. But if you ask the patient on coughing, the vocal cords will start moving. Okay, so there is adduction of vocal cords is seen on coughing, but adduction of vocal cords is not seen on trying to produce the voice. Okay, so this is about the functional aphonia. Next we have phonesthesias. So what do you see in phonesthesia? In phonesthesia, one first important thing is that there is voice abuse. Because of the voice abuse or laryngitis, there is fatigue is present. Because of voice abuse or laryngitis, there is fatigue seen in the because of the voice abuse, there is fatigue is seen in the phonatory muscles. So as a result, the phonatory muscles become weak. There is fatigue in the phonatory muscles. So as a result, the phonatory muscles will become weak. Okay. So because they become weak, the voice will not be normal. Okay. Now, there will be easy fatigability of the voice. So here the main symptom is easy fatigability of voice is the main symptom. On indirect laryngoscopy, if you do an indirect laryngoscopy, you will see that number 1, if 3 features are seen, 1 like this, 2 presence of like this, 3 you will see presence of like this, the vocal cords. Okay, now if it is present like this is elliptical space between the cords. Here you are seeing elliptical space between the cords. This occurs due to the weakness of thyroarytenoid, will result in thyroarytenoid will result in elliptical space between the cords. Here what type of space you are seeing? Triangular gap is seen between the cords, and this is actually due to the interarytenoid weakness. Interarytenoid weakness will result in triangular gap between the cords. Then this is keyhole gap between the cords. If both the thyroarytenoid and interarytenoid are weakened, then you have this keyhole appearance of glottis. Then what about the treatment is? Treatment is we should ask the patient to do voice rest. Then if you see, the next important disorder is hyponasality. So what do you see in hyponasality? Okay, in hyponasality, or also called as rhinolalia clausa, there is lack of nasal resonance. Here there is lack of nasal resonance. Actually, there is a block in the nose. There is a block in the nose or nasopharynx, like common cold or nasal allergy or polyps or adenoids which are present in nose, or if there is any nasopharyngeal mass. In any of these conditions, there is block in the nose, and as a result, this will result in lack of nasal resonance. Because there is lack of nasal resonance, there is hyponasality, or also called as rhinolalia clausa is seen. Hyponasality or rhinolalia clausa is seen in these patients. Okay, the next important is, after hyponasality, we also have hypernasality. So what do you see in hypernasality? Hypernasality, or also called as rhinolalia aperta. Hyponasality, or also called as rhinolalia aperta. Here the words will have little nasal resonance. With little nasal resonance are normally resonated from the nose. Even the words which do not normally have nasal resonance are actually resonated in the nose. Okay, why is this occurs? This is because there is abnormal communication between the oral cavity and the nasal cavity. There will be some abnormal communication or failure of nasopharynx to cut off of oropharynx. So both these causes will result in hypernasality. Even those voices with little or no nasal nasal resonance, even they start to resonate. That is hypernasality. Then we have the next important is puberphonia. What do you see in puberphonia? It is in males. In males, that too in adult males, you will see presence of high-pitched voice is seen in adult males. This high-pitched voice in adult males is called as puberphonia. It is mainly seen in those boys who are emotionally insecure, or those who are emotionally immature, or those who feel insecure and who have excessive attachment to their mothers. If they have excessive attachment to their mothers, in these cases we see puberphonia. Then what about the treatment? Treatment is we have to train the boy to produce low-pitched voice. You should train him to produce low-pitched voice. This is puberphonia. Then the next important thing which we have is spasmodic dysphonia. We have something called as spasmodic dysphonia. So what do you see in spasmodic dysphonia? Here there is a spasm is present in the phonatory muscles. There is spasm in the phonatory muscles. Now, if there is any spasm in the phonatory muscles, it can be due to the neurological disorder. There is spasm in the phonatory muscles, and it is due to the neurological disorder. Now, this spasm which we are talking of, it can be of two types. The spasm can be present in adductor muscles, then it will be adductor spasm. If the spasm is present in the abductor muscles, then it is abductor spasm. If it is adductor spasm, it is most common. Here adductor muscle will go into the spasm. So because of this adductor spasm, there will be strained voice or strangled voice or scratchy voice will be seen. The treatment is, so in adductor spasm, you will see presence of strained, scratching, strangled voice is seen. The treatment is, you can inject the botulinum toxin is injected in the thyroarytenoid. Botulinum toxin is injected in the thyroarytenoid. Whereas if it is abductor spasm, in this the abductor muscle goes into the spasm and the vocal cords are unable to abduct. They are unable to abduct, and as a result, if this is the thing, the vocal cords have to abduct, but the vocal cords are unable to abduct, so there will be leakage. So in this case, there will be leakage of air during the speech. You will see there will be leakage of air during the speech. Even here you should give botulinum toxin only, but in this the botulinum toxin is given to the abductor muscle, that is, it is given to the posterior cricoarytenoid, which is an abductor muscle. So we have abductor spasm and adductor spasm. Okay, so these are the speech disorders. Thank you.